Once it was the little studio that could. Now it's got a big reputation for pushing the technological envelope.
Pixar invented all this stuff.
Art challenges technology, and technology inspires the art.
That combination has brought big rewards to Pixar and parent company Disney. Pixar's films have made nearly $8 billion worldwide, breaking box office records.
They've had success after success after success. It's not a formula you want to tinker with.
Ka-chow!
And that formula is simple. Make great movies.
We're about putting stories into the culture. We're about telling stories.
Welcome to Pixar, where employees ride around on scooters passing Luxo Jr., the company's logo and iconic characters from the company's 13 films. It's a place where creative juices are fueled by foosball and ping pong, a swimming pool and a basketball court, all in the hopes of creating the next Toy Story.
I got a staff meeting, you guys. Come on, let's go.
Those staff meetings might happen here, according to Pixar's Chris Wiggum.
This is our main atrium. The idea was to have it very open and to encourage kind of spontaneous interactions, you know, where you run into somebody on the way to grab lunch and you're like, oh, hey, I've had this idea that I've been meaning to run past you.
Those ideas have led to Pixar's 29 Oscars on display at the front door. Speaking of doors, many are closed to outsiders.
There's a different culture here, you know, and everybody will protect that culture with their lives.
Creative head John Lasseter nurtured that culture from the days before Pixar was even Pixar. In 1984, Lasseter went to work for Star Wars producer George Lucas in the computer graphics division of Lucasfilm. There he made his first short film, The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. The movie used an innovative animation technique called motion blur and complex 3D backgrounds. But the plan to make more movies under Lucasfilm was not to be. The legendary director, in the middle of a costly divorce, put the division up for sale. Luckily, a wealthy investor recognized the unit's filmmaking potential.
Well, I went up there and saw what they were doing, and I was blown away. I spent a lot of time in computer graphics with the Macintosh and the Laser Writer and stuff, but this was way beyond anything I'd seen. And so I bought into that dream, both spiritually, if you will, and financially. And we bought the computer division from George and incorporated it as Pixar.
When George Lucas sold the computer graphics division to Steve Jobs, John Lasseter and his team became the founding members of a new company called Pixar.
We were only 40 people or so at the time, you know, in February of 1986, and that's when we formed Pixar. So this group, you know, the foundation of this group is about inventing something that no one's ever seen before, inventing something new. And so every movie we do pushes the technology, pushes the art form. Art challenges technology, and technology inspires the art.
And both depend on something else.
Everything is driven by the story.
We're about putting stories into the culture. That's what we're about, telling stories.
Lasseter had always dreamed of telling a big story in a new way.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
Toy Story, the first full-length computer animated film ever, took 4 years to make. It also brought the filmmakers to unexpected places.
What's interesting about computer animation is that all the pieces come together right at the end. It's like, you know, building a car, but all the parts are spread out on your driveway for a long time. You don't know if it's going to drive well.
Drive well it did. In 1991, Pixar had signed a $26 million distribution deal with Disney to produce 3 computer-animated feature films. Toy Story, released in 1995, was the first.
Did you know Toy Story was going to be a hit?
We knew we had something special, but you never know whether it's going to hit or not. But we just trusted our own instinct and made the kind of movies we wanted to see.
Those movies also turned out to be films audiences wanted to see. Toy Story was a hit, grossing $358 million, more than 12 times what it cost to make. It was also seen as an important innovation in animation, winning an Oscar for Special Achievement. Pixar's success, though, became costly for Disney. In 2003, following a disagreement over the release of Toy Story's sequel, Pixar announced it would look for a new distributor after its contract with Disney expired. 2 years later, new CEO Bob Iger made it one of his first priorities to bring Pixar back. The cost? $7.4 billion, a price many Wall Street analysts and some Disney board members thought was too high. Looking back on that decision, Iger says it was the right thing to do.
The Pixar acquisition was transformative in so many ways, turning Disney animation into something that we're really proud of again. Our goal is to be associated with high-quality branded IP.
That intellectual property has turned into a string of hits for Disney and Pixar, with each one making its debut at #1 on opening weekend. When we come back, more on the man who is considered the creative adrenaline of Pixar.
Everything I do in my life is because of Walt Disney and how he entertained me as a child and then as a young adult growing up.